Fire. The whole center of town will soon be ablaze. The flames, before it's over, will lift so high above our heads that it will create its own weather system. All the flames meeting right above the diamond and swirling in a vortex in smoke and flame. It was virtually hell on earth here in Chambersburg. Women and children running every which way. Buckets being dipped in the stream just west of town. But to no avail, there was nothing here that could be saved. Pretty soon, there was nothing in the center of town but fleeing and crying and devastation.
Major Gilmore, I'd like you to ride up to the McClure house. Alexander McClure has been an ally of Abraham Lincoln, and he has criticized the Confederacy once too often in his newspaper. Burn the McClure house to the ground. Captain Fitzhugh, make sure your men are checking with the Masonic Temple. I understand there is a guard there protecting it.
Yes, sir.
Direct someone to verify that.
We'll verify the house. Gather men. Make sure it's burning.
To those of you who may not be familiar with our town, let me paint for you a picture of what it was like to have been here that July afternoon in 1864. Why, in every direction here from the diamond, south, west, north, east, every block was filled with flames. Why, an 86-year-old woman right around the corner from here, across the street from my store, was so overcome by what was going on that she fainted. The Confederates stepped over her body and burned her house anyway. Why, the wife of our jeweler here in town had just passed away. She had died with the fever, and her young infant daughter had the fever too. Her body was laid out in the front room of her house, being prepared for burial on the day that the Confederates came to town. And when the Confederates came here, they beat and pounded on her door. And the grief-stricken husband came to the door and said that there was death in this house. And yet, they heeded not, broke right inside the doors, and burned the house anyway. Several of us got together and ran across the street to help that poor husband grab up the dead, lifeless body of his poor departed wife, and we quickly buried it in the garden behind the house so that it wouldn't be devoured by the flames. Why, by the time I made it back through the house, the heat and the smoke was so strong that I had to hold a cloth over my face to keep from suffocating.
Good work, good work. Let's continue on this way. Let's let it burn.
Soon, anywhere that you went here in town, the flames grew higher and higher. And those of us who had stayed behind to try and help save some belongings, some of the things that we owned, were almost caught here, cut off from the rest of the town. And we huddled right here where you're standing, right in the center of town in a small group.